Yeah. So the data is in the form of structured, we have data in the form of structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. Right, what is unstructured data? Data which is in the form of text, free form text. And so this is unstructured data. Whatever you are seeing here, the free form text is unstructured data. Structured data, data which is in the form of rows and columns. And what is semi-structured data? Am I audible? Hypertext. Yes, HTML or XML, all this is semi-structured data. So web contains a huge amount of unstructured data, and where you can form this found this unstructured data inside the web. Okay, in web, where you can find
On the content pages, ma'am, like on any website content.
any content, right? So either it may be PDF files or some review forums. Okay, so analyzing the text which is available to us is great importance, because web has so volume, so much amount of information, and that too in form of unstructured data, and analyzing this text is very important. Why it is important? Because it also contains some valuable information. So the task of mining opinions is nothing but the opinion mining, and it is very important, but it is difficult to mine the text which is there in the web. Why it is very difficult to mine the text?
Like it can contain different meanings at different instances.
Yes, because of natural and we need to handle this natural language processing. It contains same words, different meanings. So it is very challenging and difficult one. And if you are, for example, if you are mining some reviews, the text will not be, the words which the user types may not be complete. For example, to write the review as good, some may write as GUD, right? So even the text may not be complete. So there are many challenges in mining this text. So what is sentiment analysis? Sentiment analysis is also called as opinion mining. It's the study of opinions, sentiments, and emotions which are expressed in text. It analyzes the people's opinions, appraisals, attitudes, and emotions towards entities, individuals, or they may react on events, topics, and their attributes. So let us see what do you mean by attributes in our next slide. So why opinion mining is important? So when in our house, if you have any problem and you have to take a decision, you will take the opinion of the elders. So why opinion is important? To make a certain decisions, opinion is important. And when you are taking the opinion, it is the opinion of the collection. You will take opinion of all the people or the persons that are there in the house. So it's not the opinion of the single person, it's the collective opinion. You'll collectively take the opinion of the people and make the decision. In the past, when you want to take the opinion, the individuals would like to seek their family members or the friends, and in case of business, the opinion will be collected from surveys, focus groups, and consultants. But now it is not the case. No opinion from the friends and families are taken, or even the business people are not taking the opinion from surveys. Now, from where they are collecting the opinions? From the web. So finding and monitoring opinion sites on the web and distilling the information contained in them is very difficult task because of diverse sites. When you want to collect the opinion may be in different sites. For example, can you give the example? Any live example?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. One can be a social media site, one can be a, blog, one can be a portfolio, one can
Okay,
be a company website.
right. So a layman or a simple human will find very difficult to find the appropriate sites which contains the opinion. This is one of the difficulties. And it is when you are giving the any person, if are giving any opinion, it is biased towards their requirements. For example, if one person want to buy a cell phone, one may look for the clarity of the camera, or some other person may look at the battery life. For a person who is having low battery life and high quality camera, may not give that good or positive review on that product. So always the human opinions and their analysis is biased towards the requirement of a particular person or entity. Is that point clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So one can express opinion on anything in reviews, forums, discussion groups, blogs, etc. And the techniques are developed for exploiting the sources and analyzing the information which is there in the form of text and coming with a particular decision. So next topic, problem of opinion mining. So we have abstractly defined what is opinion mining, and it enables us to structure the complexity or to bring a structure from the complex unstructured data and analyzing the data from that unstructured data. So I have already covered this. For most opinion based applications, it's the collection of opinions rather than the opinion of a single person. So we need some form of summary of opinions, but not the opinion of a individual. So let us see this example. This is the review given in one of the site. I bought an iPhone few days ago. It was nice phone. The touch screen was really cool. The voice quality is clear. So and so, so and so, so and so. So tell me, what are the opinions from this review? You analyze and tell me what are the opinions in the review.
There was a positive, satisfactory review that it is nice and like quality of voice is good, touchscreen
Okay.
quality is good. And
Okay.
there is a negative review that it is too expensive.
Okay, very good. Any other opinions? Okay.
Ma'am, there are somebody waiting outside.
I'm unable to see. No one? Shall I proceed? ఎవరమ్మా చెప్పింది లేరు ఎవరు ఇక్కడ వెయిటింగ్ లో.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now came Vinila. Right. So in our example, sentence 2, 3 and 4 are positive opinions and other sentences are negative opinions. And when we are giving the opinions will have some targets. For example, in sentence 2, we are talking about the iPhone as a whole. Okay, it was such a nice phone. We are talking about iPhone. Our target is here phone. Tell me about sentence 3.
Touchscreen, ma'am.
Touch screen. 4, voice quality.
Voice quality.
And in 5th, it is me who is giving the opinion. The target is me, but not the iPhone. Okay. And 6th sentence.
Again, phone, ma'am. It is expensive that it is phone about phone only, no, ma'am. Okay, it is mother's opinion, ma'am.
Yes, it is mother. 4th is touch screen, whereas 5th is me, and 6th is mother. Yes. Now you got an idea about what is the target, what is the opinions. All right. Next, we'll proceed. So let us define our problem definition. Opinion can be expressed about anything. It may be a product, a service, or an individual, an organization, event, topic by a person or organization. So we use the term entity to denote the target object that has been evaluated. Remember this word entity. Entity is nothing but target object. An entity can have set of components of components and its attributes, set of attributes, T comma W, where T is component and W is attributes. So for example, if you see this Canon is a component of, okay, it has an attributes called as picture quality, size, appearance. Again, it has subcomponents called as lens, battery, and battery has the attributes called as battery life, size. Have you understood the definition? Shall I repeat or proceed? Right. So what is aspect? The aspect of an entity E are the components and attributes of E. So the components and attributes, we are calling it as aspects. So these are nothing but features. In the earlier edition, instead of aspects, they called it as features, but to avoid the confusion with the machine learning features, because here we are dealing with opinions, and there the features means they are extracted from the text and they are the field names. So they wanted to differentiate the machine learning features with the features of opinion mining, because these are the opinions, they are dealing with opinions. They named it as aspects instead of features. Aspect name and aspect expression. Aspect name is nothing but the name of the aspect which is given by the user, and expression is an actual word or phrase that is appearing in text. Example, for example, the component name Motorola. Motorola is the aspect name, but actually it is expressed in text as Moto. It's an expression. Whatever the user is expressing in the text is the expected expression. Is that point clear? Got the difference between aspect name and aspect expression?
Ma'am, once again repeat about that, ma'am.
Motorola అనేది ఒక aspect name, ఒక entity name, component name. It has, we should not say it as component, it have attributes, and we'll given the name as Motorola. But you may not express this name in your text. When you are describing your opinion on the aspect Motorola, you say that Moto is good, MOT is good. You will use some short forms. Aspect expression is the actual word that is expressing in the text to indicate this aspect.
Okay, ma'am.
Whatever you are expressing in the text, ఒక కాంపోనెంట్ గురించి నీ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ తెలపడానికి యు మే నాట్ రైట్ ద ఎంటైర్ నేమ్. సమ్ మే రైట్ ఎంఓటి, సమ్ మే రైట్ ఎంఓటిఓ, రైట్? సో ఆల్ దీస్ టర్మ్స్ కమ్స్ అండర్ ది ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్. Shall I proceed? Right. So and even in the cellular phone domain, an accept could be the named voice. When we are saying the name voice, that can, even that voice can be expressed in terms of sound or even as voice, or else some may expressed as voice quality. The name is voice, but you are expressing the same voice as sound, voice and voice quality. Now I think it is more clear than my example. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Right. So aspect expressions are usually nouns, noun phrases, but it can also be verbs, verb phrases, adjectives, and adverbs. And we call aspect expressions in a sentence that are nouns and noun phrases as explicit aspect expression. For example, sound is there. The sound of this phone is clear. We are telling about sound here. So this is an explicit expression. But see what is implicit aspect expression. in implicit aspect expressions are, they often imply some aspect implicitly. For example, large is an implicit aspect expression in this phone is too large. We are saying that this phone is too large means what is mean by large here? What it is indicating? Which item or which attribute it is indicating? It is not indicating phone. The phone is too large means the size of the phone is too large. Your size is implicit. Have you understood the difference? Here clearly we have said in the case of explicit set, the sentence is the sound of this phone is clear. But here we are not saying that the size of the phone is too large. The phone is too large itself is indicating that it is indicating about the size. Any doubts? Good. ఇక్కడ వచ్చేసిందా ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ లాగా? ఓకే. Like aspect and entity is also having the name. So what is the difference between aspect and entity? Previously I have given the same example for aspect. But there is a difference between aspect and entity.
Ma'am, entity could be a brand, but entity could be a brand like Motorola,
right?
Redmi. But
Yes.
aspect is generalized for everything like size, sound.
Yes, very good. So you have understood clearly. Okay, right. An entity will have a name and it can be expressed, entity expressions like short, Motorola, anything. Entity name and entity expression. An entity name is the name of the entity given by the user, while an entity expression is the actual word or phrase that has appeared in the text. I think no explanation is required for this. Chande, after this slide, I have indicated one empty slide. I have given one empty slide. Why? Because, maybe 1 minute. From here, actually, your syllabus starts. Inside this definitions, there are words like aspect or something else. Without and after this, the definitions are there. I'll show you. After this, the definitions are everything are there. But without explaining what is aspect or what is the entity, I cannot explain you directly what is sentiment classification or aspect opinion. That's why first I have given definitions, and then I have started with your syllabus sentiment classification. Okay? Your actual syllabus starts from here. So that's why I have an empty slide in between. So we'll directly, it's from sentiment classification. For evaluating the evaluating the test, there are 3 mining tasks are there, which comes under document mining or document expressing opinions. And that 3 mining tasks are sentiment classification, feature-based opinion mining, and summarization, and comparative sentences and relation mining. So sentiment classification. This task treats opinion mining as text classification. It is similar to your text classification problem. And it classifies the text as positive, negative, in some cases positive, negative, or neutral. Aspect-based or featured-based opinion mining and summarization. And this task is at sentence level to discover the details. That is what aspect of object that people liked or disliked. Comparative sentence and relation mining. That is comparison between two sentences. It will directly compare one object with another object and their similarities. This is nothing but comparative sentence mining. So coming back to sentiment classification. Sentiment classification is a supervised learning, and it classifies the data into positive, negative, and neutral. And don't go to correct English or. Given a set of text and we are representing it as a D, so it is not document, it is text. All the reviews data, forum data will be in the form of text, and that we are representing it as a D. A sentiment a sentiment classifier which classifies each document. We are calling it as a document, but it's a all one subset of data, whatever we are given by one user. We are thinking it as a document. It classifies each document into one of the two classes, positive or negative. And this existing research is at the document level to classify each whole document as positive or negative. Classification based on sentiment phrases. This method performs classification based on positive and negative sentiment words and phrases contained in each evaluated text. So here the classification is based on positive and negative sentiment words, and the algorithm will make use of natural language processing technique called as part of speech tagging. The simple 5 marks question or 2 marks question will be like explain about part of speech tagging. And common part of speech categories in English are noun, verb. You know what are parts of speeches are: noun, verb, adjective, adverb, pronoun, so on. So what is pure tagging? Pure tagging is a task of labeling each word in a sentence with its appropriate parts of speech. For example, Chudam. See, this is the parts of speech tagging, which is given in tree bank part. It's English grammar tagging. So, for example, if it is noun, it is represented as NN. If it is noun or plural, it is represented as NNS. If it is verb, VB. So some representations, some tagging they have given like this. So let us see the classification based on sentiment phrases. The first step is to extract the phrases containing adjectives and adverbs. And I think you know the parts of speech, right? What is the noun, what is pronoun? Marchipayara gurtunaya?
Gurtunnayi, ma'am.
Right. The algorithm extract two consecutive words. So you need to extract the phrases. They are nothing but two consecutive words where one member of the pair is an adjective or adverb and the other is context word, some context word. So you need to extract the words like this. You need to extract two consecutive words out of which one word is adjective or adverb. And two consecutive words are extracted if their previous tags conform to any of the pattern in the table 11.2. Oh, I have forgotten to give the tagging. Okay, figure names. So see here, I'll directly go to the example. I have a sentence like, this camera produces beautiful pictures. Beautiful picture will, this is the sentence, and I need to extract two consecutive words. How can I extract the two consecutive words? If one of the word is adjective or adverb. Okay. So beautiful pictures will be extracted as it satisfies the first pattern. What is that first pattern? Noun. Yes. If the first is adjective. Adjective, it is telling about some noun. Is my first pattern is satisfied or not? If some pattern here is satisfied, this is pattern 1, this is pattern 2, some tagging is given. The first word is JJ, means it is, if it is noun. Forget about, and the second word is NN. Then third word could be anything or not extracted. So if this pattern, the first pattern, that is, if the first word is adjective, it is beautiful is adjective. So this beautiful pictures is extracted from the text. Any doubts? ఈ JJRR RBNT అనేది అడగండి, అది ఇంగ్లీష్ గ్రామర్ ట్యాగింగ్స్. ఇక్కడ ట్యాగింగ్స్ ఇవి ఫ్రమ్ ద బుక్. JJ అంటే adjective. This is nothing to do with our computer science language. It's simply English grammar tags that are given long back. Any doubts? Okay. The first pattern ikkada idini cheppochu kada. First pattern JJ is nothing but adjective. Second pattern is noun. Third pattern can be anything or nothing. So it is adjective, noun, extracted. So what is the second pattern? RB, RBR or RBS. RB ante enti? What is RB? Adverb. So ee pattern lo undali. RB ante adverb. Adverb comparative. Adverb superlative. If the first word is adverb or comparative and the second word is adjective, then you can extract. If this is the second pattern. Third pattern, first word is now adjective and second word is also adjective. Right. Now we are clear how to extract the words. We are extracted the words, and this step 2. It estimates the semantic orientation of the extracted phrases using a measure called as point-wise mutual information measure. So the association between the words has to be estimated. That is estimated using a measure called as PMI. And PMI between the two terms, that is term 1 and term 2, is given by log 2 of probability of term 1 and term 2 divided by probability of term 1 into probability of term 2. The denominator denotes the independency of term 1 and term 2. And PMI is sensitive to the length or the frequency of the terms. To indicate that the terms in the text are appearing only once, we are using log before the probability function. Is that point clear? I'll repeat. PMI is very sensitive to the frequency of the terms that appear in the text or in the document. So to avoid that and to consider that the term is appearing only once in the document, we are using the log function. And the ratio between the probability of term 1 and term 2 by the product of term 1 and the term 2 probabilities gives the statistical dependence between them. So how statistically they are dependent, the term 1 and the term 2, is defined by PMI. So you are finding the association statistical dependence of term 1 and term 2. Now how much this particular term is oriented, that is positively or negatively oriented towards the particular is oriented towards positiveness or negativeness is decided by semantic orientation. I'll repeat, the particular how much the particular term is oriented towards positiveness or negativeness is is decided by semantic orientation, SO. So I have one positive word, that is excellent, and another positive word as poor. And I am having a phrase and calculating how much it is oriented towards excellent or poor. Any doubts? Have you understood the difference between PMI and SO? No? Any doubts?
Ma'am, once again, quickly say that PMI versus SO, ma'am.
PMI,
Ophthalmology.
PMI of term 1 and term 2. The closeness or the association between term 1 and term 2 is calculated using PMI. ఈ రెండు ఎంత ఒకదానికొకటి రిలేటెడ్ అయి ఉన్నాయి అని తెలుసుకోవడానికి పిఎంఐ. ఇస్ దిస్ పిఎంఐ క్లియర్?
Yes, ma'am.
ఓకే. ఎస్ఓ అని అంటే ఒక పర్టికులర్ టర్మ్ వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓరియంటింగ్ టువర్డ్స్ పాజిటివ్ ఆర్ నెగటివ్.
Okay, how much orientation?
ఆ ఓరియంటేషన్ అని తెలుసుకోవడం కోసమే ఒక పర్టికులర్ ఫేజ్ ఎస్ఓ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం.
Okay, ma'am.
పాజిటివ్ వైపు ఉందా, నెగటివ్ వైపు ఉందా?
Got it, ma'am.
So given a review, the algorithm will compute the average SO of all phrases in the review and classifies the review as recommended if the average SO is positive and not recommended otherwise. You need to calculate the average of all SOs, and based on the average, you need to classify them as recommended or not recommended. And according to the classification accuracies, when you want to know about the classification accuracies on reviews from various domains, for automobiles, the reviews are given that means recommended is 84%, but whereas movies classification accuracy will be 66%. It's a general example. 84% for automobiles and the classification accuracy is 66% for movies. The simplest approach to sentiment classification is to treat the problem as topic-based test classification problem. And the classification for the third step, right? For the text classification algorithms, we can use naive-based classification, SVM, or KNN, etc. And in case of movie reviews, unigram classification performed better when compared to Bayesian or SVM. And when they have performed the research by using unigram, they have not used stemming or or they have not used stop word removal. They have not applied these two, no stemming or stop word removal.
Ma'am, any reason why it was not without them?
Reviews ఇచ్చేదే 1 to 3 sentences కదమ్మా. So I think they have not removed.
maybe like only even those stopwords mean a lot in those short reviews.
అయి ఉండొచ్చు. అంటే స్టాప్ వర్డ్ రిమూవల్స్ అంటే మెయిన్ గా అసలు ఫ్రేజెస్ క్లాస్ అదేంటి యూజింగ్ ద ఫ్రేజెస్ దే ఆర్ క్లాసిఫైయింగ్ కదా. సో ఫ్రేజెస్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ వెన్ దే ఆర్ యూజింగ్ మోర్ దెన్ 2 words, ద స్టాప్ వర్డ్స్ మే గివ్ మోర్ మీనింగ్.
ఓకే,
అందుకని స్టాప్ వర్డ్స్ రిమూవ్ చేసి ఉండరు. అండ్ స్టాప్ వర్డ్స్ కన్నా స్టెమ్మింగ్ అయితే వర్డ్ చాలా చిన్నదైపోయి రివ్యూ మీనింగే మారిపోతుంది స్టెమ్మింగ్ చేసినప్పుడు కొన్ని చోట్ల. So another classification method is there, which is called as score function for this review sentiment classification. And the algorithm consists of 2 steps. It scores each term in the training set using the following equation. And I don't want to repeat this statement. And the step 2, first you need to score each term, and then the new document to be classified, that is di is equal to t1 up to tn. The new document contains these terms. This algorithm will sum up the scores of all terms and uses the sign of total to determine the class. I'll say you are calculating the score for each term, right? Now once you get a new document and it contains the term, the score of the new document will be the sum of the scores of the all terms. Have you understood? Okay, right. And uses the sign of the total to determine the class. So if there are, say, 2 classes are there, and if the evaluation of the document is greater than 0, same classification ela use chestam. If you get some satisfactory score, then it belongs to this class, otherwise it belongs to other class. It is sum of the all scores of the individual terms. Major applications, I think the last topic anukunta. Okay. So the popular research topic in recent years is natural language processing and web data mining. And 20 to 60 companies in USA are mainly dependent on this research topics that are natural language processing and web data mining. And these companies are touching every aspect of natural language processing, and it is restricted and confined. But as you are using natural language processing, you cannot apply or you cannot get all the values that you are expecting. But previously there are only little research on natural language processing. When you want to mine the opinions, the major technology you are using is NLP. And it is not so easy to apply this natural language processing techniques. And previously we have said that we'll get the opinions in different sites. So integrating the data which is there in the different sites is very hard. This is one of the main problem. One problem in mining the opinions is use of natural language processing. And the second one is from identifying from where you will get the data source. And once you identify the data source, integrating the data from various sites is hard. So the same example I said, they have given the definitions, everything at the last. If I explain these definitions at the last, the previous one you might not you have not understood. So first only I have explained it. But according to the syllabus, now they have given the definition of object. And see, the same in case of say if entity and for object, will give the same definition, that in object is anything which can be uniquely identified, entity is anything which can be uniquely identified. In some textbooks they have given as objects, and in some textbook they have given as entities. In same Web Data Mining 2007, they have defined it as object, but in the current textbook in the second edition they have given as entity. Okay, the same definitions. Shall I repeat or proceed? అంతే సేమే ఉన్నాయి. సరే ఒక్కసారి స్లైడ్ చూసుకోండి. ఐ విల్ ప్రొసీడ్. Right. So this I have not included in your previous slides. Opinion definition continuation. An opinion is a quantuple, consists of OJ, FJ. FJ is nothing but feature, SO, HI, and TI terms. Sorry, time. So OJ is your target object. FJ is the feature of the object OJ, and SO is the sentiment value of the opinion holder. See, sometimes the opinion holder will give some values. That is for positive value or negative value. This can be represented in scores like up to 1 to 5. So all these positive value, negative value, or the scores that the reviewer is giving, it is called as sentiment value. And HI is nothing but who is the opinion holder. TI is the time when the opinion is expressed. Even in sometimes time is also plays an appropriate role. For example, if the movie is released today, and if you want to give the review after 1 month, it's of no use, right? So time when the opinion is expressed is also important. So what is the objective? Given an opinionated document, discover all the quintuples, that is, mine the 5 corresponding pieces of information in each quintuple. With this quintuple, see, we are getting the features 5. The unstructured text will be converted into structured data. Traditional data and visualization tools can be used to slice. ఏంటి ఇప్పుడు యాడ్ అవుతున్నారా? Irfan, why too late? ఉన్నాడా? Okay. So traditional data and visualization tools can be used to slice, dice, and visualize the results in all kinds of ways. And it enables qualitative and quantitative analysis. By using this visualization tools, we can analyze the data by slice and dice. మీరు స్లైసింగ్ అండ్ డైసింగ్ డేటా వేర్ హౌసింగ్ మైనింగ్ ల్యాబ్ లో చేస్తారా? చేయలేదా? ఓకే. అండ్ మీకు రాగానే చెప్దాం అనుకున్నా, సాయి కృష్ణ మోస్ట్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ యూ సెడ్ నా 15 days లోనే మీకు యూ మే హ్యావ్ సెకండ్ మిడ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్, because they have instructed us to complete the syllabus by this month ending. సో 18th నుంచి ఎగ్జామ్స్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత 1 week ఉంటుంది మనకి క్లాస్, ఆ తర్వాత సెకండ్ మిడ్. నాకు ఇంకా I think only 2-3 topics are left. I'll stop now. I'll stop here. Same definitions. Let's complete Jana. 4 slides. I'll continue tomorrow. Any doubts in the today's class?